everyone, it's Miss Ellie from the Crown Point Community Library, and today I am bringing library to you with story time and a craft for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So today, if you're watching this on January 18th, is the day that we celebrate the life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He was an incredibly important figure in history for our country, but also all over the world because a lot of people used him as an example. And so he was a civil rights leader that advocated for the equal rights of African Americans in our country. When Martin was a little boy, he was not allowed to do certain things like eat in certain restaurants, go to the bathroom, or even go to certain libraries because of the color of his skin. And he knew that that was wrong, and he wanted to make a change. And so when he grew up, he actually went to school for a very long time, and he became a doctor, meaning that he has a PhD, and he became a minister. And so he then started to give talks and sermons about how people should all be treated equally and fairly in our country. And so in the 1960s, some of your grandparents might remember this, there were several marches and protests and boycotts. That means that you choose not to do something on purpose in order to get your point across. During that time, that were led by Dr. King. And he actually won the Nobel Peace Prize for his activism because he believed that violence was not the answer. He was a non-violent protester. And in our country, that is a legal thing to do. You can protest things that you don't believe in or that you think are wrong by having a non-violent protest. And so he was very well known all over the world for his leadership. So we have several books at the library if you want to read about Dr. King specifically. I know that a lot of you are learning about him in school, and I didn't want to read the same book that maybe your school librarian read to you. So we are actually going to talk about the more general topic of protest and march. So what it means to march and to protest, and then your craft actually is related to that. So I think that's really fun. The book that we are going to read is called Sometimes People March. So let's get to it. Sometimes People March by Tessa Allen. Brought to you by Balzer and Bray, an imprint of HarperCollins Publishers. Sometimes ants march. Sometimes bands march. Sometimes people march. Marching is something people do together when they want to resist injustice, or when they notice the need for change. People march for many reasons. People march for things they care about and people they love. People march for the health of their bodies and their communities and the world. People march for the freedom to love and live and learn. Sometimes people carry signs to share their stories of resistance. See, they all have a sign for what they care about. People resist in many ways. Sometimes people resist with their voices. She's saying, "Show me what democracy looks like." And then they're saying, "This is what democracy looks like." They might resist with words. The way to right wrongs is to turn the light of truth upon them. Ida B. Wells. Or with songs or art. People resist with meetings. They resist by standing up or sitting down or taking a knee. It isn't always easy. Feet get tired, arms get tired, hearts and hopes get tired. Sometimes problems seem too big or complex. But we do not march alone. Ants are stronger together. Bands are louder together. People are more powerful together. Sometimes from feelings of fear or anger or injustice comes the hope for change. Sometimes great change starts small with a brave question. Maybe your question, a question that calls people together. And together we find the courage to march. Look at all, those are all people in the street marching, and some of them are holding signs. And then in the back of this book, it actually lists a lot of different marches that have taken place throughout history in our country. And there's the last sign. So I really love that book. I hope that you enjoyed it. And so I talked a little bit about your craft being related to protest and to marching. So if you come by the library and pick up a bag this week, you will see some coloring pages. So this first one is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and then just some information about his life. And then this actually is a Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. quote, so something that he said and that a lot of people really enjoyed and believed in. So you can color in all the bubble letters in different colors. I thought that was fun. And then you're going to have a paper that looks like this. And so what this is your template for making your own protest sign. And so I had a lot of fun doing these. They can be serious or silly. I'll show you some of my examples for what I thought they were. You can do all 4 of them. You can do 1 of them. You can do them with your family, by yourself, however you want to use this. So for me, the first one that I did was another quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It says, "Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that." So that was a very famous thing that he said, and I love that. So I used the heart one to do that one. And then the circle I thought was a great opportunity to do one about our earth, because I am very concerned about our world and how we take care of it or don't take care of it very well. I love nature, I love being out in it, and so it was very important to me. So I said, respect our mother, like Mother Earth, because we're all on the same planet and we have to take care of it, right? We don't get another one. And then this is kind of similar. So this is a quote from the Lorax, which is one of my favorite stories. And I know they made it into a movie a few years ago, which was really great. I've watched that a ton of times too. So it says, if you can't read it, it says, "Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not." And so that's something that he said in the book. And he's talking about deforestation. So the cutting down of trees, and we get our air that we breathe from trees. So obviously trees are really important for lots of reasons. And so that one was, again, something that's very important to me. So that's the whole idea of a protest sign is that you are speaking something about what's really important to you. And so you'll notice that some of these have just words. Some of them have words and a picture. And then my last one is just a picture. Now, what do you think I might be saying with this protest sign? Can you guess? My family and I argue about this because one of my children really disagrees with me. But this says, no pineapple on pizza, because I think that pineapple on pizza is gross and it should not be there. So that's what I mean when it can be a silly protest sign, or it could be something serious, whatever you would enjoy the most. So I really hope that you guys have fun creating this craft and also doing the coloring pages, because coloring is fun. And I hope that you enjoyed our story. If you would like to read it again, or if you would like to read more books about the civil rights movement or Dr. Martin Luther King, you can definitely either check them out in the catalog online or come in person and we can help you find those. I hope that you all have a great week, and I will see you next time. Bye.